Good day, my fellow mobility airmen. My name is Brandon Greenawalt, and I'm the commander of the 730th Air Mobility Squadron here at lovely Yokota Air Base, Japan. And I'm going to be your host for this week's Howzit video. So hope everybody's coming back off of Thanksgiving. Everybody's full, rested, having spent time with some friends and family, got to recharge a little bit. I personally had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I spent time with my lovely family, a couple of friends, and I got to spend some time with my good friend here, Matt, the Michigan elf. Well, what I want to spend this time in the video talking about is making an intentional human connection during the holiday season. So as we all know, the holidays are very stressful in and of themselves, or at least they can be for a lot of people, with all the holidays that we're getting ready for, connecting with family, getting presents, making sure the food is ready, the calendars are all set up. I know operationally we get a lot of things crammed in there those last couple of weeks before everything starts shutting down for the holidays. And so just thinking about how stressful things are, just generally speaking, what happens when you add a global pandemic on top of that. So I know this time last year, I was surprised it had been going on for 9 months already, and knew that 2021 we're going to finally turn the corner, and we have in a lot of ways. But here we are in December of 2021, still dealing with the impacts of COVID. And so, case in point, this week Japan had their first case of the Omicron variant, and has thus started shutting down the borders again as far as foreigners coming into the country. And so, still to this day, we're still dealing with some of those challenges that have come up since COVID hit. So we factor in on top of that the deadly nature of the virus, all those travel complications, the constantly shifting COVID requirements everywhere we go, the uncertain nature of the economy, the increased operational tempo that I know here at Japan we've been definitely feeling, and you add all that in on top of the stresses that have already been endured. And so where does that leave people, and how do people deal with all of that? I'm coming through. And so it sounds a little overwhelming, a little foreboding with all of that, but if there are resources available to help every single airman and all their family members to be able to navigate these times effectively. And so the best way to connect to those resources is to help them find the specific resources that they need when they need them, to be able to plug them in at the right time before things get too overwhelming or things get out of control. And so I think we've been doing a good job with that this past year, as we've been focusing on the 3 to 5 minute conversations and making sure that we're intentional about reaching out and touching our people in the work centers. And so I know for some people that's easier than it is for other people. Those connections happen a little bit more naturally. For some of us, it's a bit more challenging trying to reach out and connect there. And so if you haven't been able to do it, or do it as well as you would have liked this past year, it's not too late to start. It's not too late to redouble those efforts and make those intentional connections this holiday season. And so make it a point to reach out to someone you don't normally interact with, and try to find some kind of common ground that can be the starting place for a conversation. And so you don't have to worry about it starting deeply. If you feel comfortable, try asking those questions that dig a little bit deeper, but it doesn't have to start that way. You can ask conversations about some of your common interests, and find those common interests is really where those conversations start, where you can build that trust, build that camaraderie that will lead to those deeper conversations, that will lead to those opportunities to be able to talk about things that are a little closer and a little deeper, a little harder to get to in a normal day-to-day kind of conversation. So, for example, my first sergeant, Master Sergeant Klein, a great human being, but he exhibits poor judgment when it comes to college football team preferences. And so something that we've started daily this week is I will humbly go into his office and blast the University of Michigan theme, aptly named The Victors. And also, I do that every day. I've committed to doing that every single day, and I will continue to do that with humility and a servant-like heart, probably until about July of 2022. And so when the shame of OSU's devastation at the hands of Michigan has faded, Sergeant Klein and I are able to have more personal conversations and talk about some of those issues outside of that service level work kind of stuff. But all joking aside, making those intentional efforts to connect with people outside of our circle, it's an incredible catalyst to building a stronger and a safer community. And that's really what we're after here, is to build a community and an environment where people feel safe, people feel heard and valued. And so as human beings, we've survived throughout our entire time on this planet, having banded together in communities where we can watch each other's back. That's how we are able to continue to grow and to be able to be effective in the world. And so in these challenging and certain times, we've never needed that more, especially as we come through the holidays, come out of the holidays, especially that we're building those communities and we're making those connections to allow that community to thrive. And so this week, I challenge and encourage each one of us to make an intentional effort to find somebody that you don't normally talk to, be it a peer, be it a subordinate, or even a boss, and just start a conversation. Don't have any expectations about what it needs to be about, what you should cover, what you shouldn't cover. Just have a conversation. Find that common ground, be it a football team or sports or cars or any number of topics that just starts a conversation. You'll find those deeper conversations start happening more and more frequently, and you get a little bit deeper, you get a little bit closer the more you have those kind of conversations. And so we've done a great job, I think, with the 3 to 5 minute conversations. And as we push into 2022, to not lose that focus we've had over the holiday season of family and friend connection, and drive that throughout the year, so that we can keep driving the stronger community throughout the year. And so as we go into the holiday breaks, make sure you take a little bit of time out for yourself in between all the shopping, the busy working before the ramps shut down for Christmas and New Year's. And so get some rest. Make sure you take a little bit of time to reflect on just the incredible accomplishments of this year, crushing through another year of COVID impacts, and 2022 will be better. And so, by the way, if you know any Ohio State fans, please give them a little bit of extra love. They definitely need it this year. And so be safe, stay out of the blotter, and out from Dakota.